All right, so obviously we already have our UCS set up. So we're talking about profiles. Again, anything that has hatch is going to be solid. So I'm going to start with what I know I've drawn. Now again, you might need to go back to your drawing and verify that you've drawn it accurately. Okay, you might have forgotten hatches, not understood lines, but now that you have a little bit more insight, hopefully it makes more sense. So if I was looking at this, some of the, I think you're missing hatches potentially. Maybe not. But that would mean this is paper thin, or it's the way it's taken. I don't know. Take a look at it again. I know this is, you have like this wall molding, right? Is it like that? Okay. So this one's a little bit of a trick because they're not showing beyond, like there's more stuff here, which is wall structure, my guess, which is a stud. So they're sort of missing, yeah, they're sort of hiding some of it. So this is a void in the wall because there's probably more structure, but it is still a void, which whatever, it doesn't matter. But there are probably some verticals that are running here. So I would start with what you know is, you know this is solid, right? You know that's solid. You know that's solid because it's really hatched. Okay, so what I like to do is start with, bring up my layer. And I actually start creating geometry based on making like a 3D layer. So I have 3D sort of as my starting, and then I might call it 3D, and I'll call that profile. Okay, so this will be a new layer that I make current, and I might give it a very specific color. Now, color won't matter so much in the sense of line weight, but I want to give it a color that's easily read over the other color. So if I go with something like yellow, it's typically pretty strong and visible. So that's my 3D profile, and it's yellow. Okay. Now, I typically don't want to retrace everything. Okay. So if I spend a lot of time and invested in that detail, I don't want to redraw it, right? I just want to switch it to be 3D profile. And then I might go like 3D profile wood. And the reason why I don't care if I mess this up is because I have the original. I have the 2D. Okay? This is... No, they stay. But when I extrude it, I want to make sure that, like I can see right now by selecting this, this is not a closed P line. Right? There's a big gap here. All right, so this is where I want to spend some time and fix this. So if I select this, I can go to under Home. I can switch this to 3D Profile. All right, so now it's yellow. And this also gives me a way to understand what I've corrected, what I haven't corrected, okay? So if I pick this, we can use grips and stretch this up and get it to now match. I can use extend, right? Extend it. Okay. And then this is a new command. We always want to use the close command. Close verifies that it closes it as a P line. So I'm going to type in close. Sorry, not close. Sorry. P edit. Sorry, it's still stuck on the close command. P edit. I select that polyline, and then I hit close. You have to hit P edit. Close is like close the software. And then we hit enter. Okay? So close, just make sure it's closed. Although they might be touching, it might not be closed P line. Okay? That makes sense so far? P edit, which is polyline edit. Stand for polyline edit, close. It might not close. You might be hitting close 1,000 times. That means you might have somewhere a little gap. Okay? And that little gap is causing it not to close, but because you can't see it. So there's a crazy command. J for join. And hold on, let me copy this out. So let's do that. Pedit, join. Okay, it's telling me I can't join a closed P line, so it's already closed, all right? So if you ever have that where it's not closing, we can explode this. And explode breaks it down into its individual elements. And again, guys, I'm recording this too. This is a lot throwing at you right now, but all right. So we extended it. We think we had it closed, but it wasn't closing, so I explode it. Explode it turns it into individual little P lines again. And then I'm going to type in pedit, enter. And then we want to enter M, enter. M is for multiple. So pedit, M for multiple. I select all the objects, all the multiple P lines, hit enter, and then I want to type it. It asks me, do I want to convert them to P lines? I hit yes, enter. Then I join, and then we get this crazy thing that's called fuzz distance. The fuzz distance is the distance that these things two, as you zoom in infinitely to it, they're apart. They're apart by fuzz. Okay? Do you understand that? What fuzz is? Like stuff that comes off your shirt. It's like really thin. So it's the fuzz distance. I know this is bizarre, but
So every intersection has to have fuzz?
no, typically not. But if you draw sloppily, you might get fuzz. So if you're not using your endpoints properly or you're not being careful. All right. And then if you give a distance, usually if you just leave it at 0 and hit enter, it'll close it. Okay? So that's a lot of steps. This is like when it cannot close for the life of you. All right? Typically when you do pedit, close, it'll close. But that one in every 100 times it doesn't, you explode it. You type in pedit, then M for multiple. You select all the multiple pedits. It asks you then, do you want to convert the lines into polylines? You hit enter for yes. Then you hit J for join. Then fuzz distance comes up, and usually if you just hit enter, it works. And then it'll close the fuzz distance. You guys want to learn AutoCAD?
That's a lot.
That's a lot to learn. But again, I'm giving you like when things are just not working the way they are. They want to, okay? So that being said, we just need closed P lines, okay? However you can make them, you typically, as long as you drew them this way and you hit join, it'll work, or pedit, close, all right? These commands work, all right? So here comes the fun part. The next is we do our extrude. I know I told you, like, you're only going to need to write a few things. So we pick extrude. Select object to extrude. We want to extrude our nice closed P line. Hit enter. Then it asks for extrusion. Now, you're not going to model the entire window. I would like to just see like the corner detail. Now in here, there is no really corner. It goes to the wall. But if you have elevational information, you might want to try to capture where that turns up. So for some of you that are doing the windows, you got the bricks in the distance, you have all this stuff. We might want to start seeing this. For right now, it's just getting used to it. So you might want to pick a standard extrusion. So this is where you got to get smart. So the move command is going to be critical. So what I'm going to default to is I want to take a, say, 2-foot section. So I want 2 feet of this. Okay? So my extrusion from one end to the other will be 2 feet. Now, if I have stuff that's happening somewhere beyond, just put that at the midpoint, 1 foot. Keep this stuff simple. Okay? Pretty much everything that's beyond is going to be in the same plane. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. All right? So I can type in 2 feet, hit enter, and that extrudes it 2 feet. Do not extrude your hatching. Hatch is not extruded. This is not a surface. This is a side treatment.
Does it matter which way we go? If we go backwards and forwards?
I would always go. I would go back, like away from you. You don't have to.
How do you control if it goes towards you or away from you?
It's how you point it. So I was pointing it back, so it went back. If I point it this way, it should go that way. Sorry, that's a good question. I want to do a. If I type in hide, hide creates a model that's hidden. So let me regen. So if I zoom in here, right? You see how I can see that line? You go, John, this thing's a hollow shape. You lied to us. It's because it's a wireframe. Okay? Wireframe means we see it as an X-ray. We see all its edges. If I type in hide, hide takes wherever we have surface and hides any lines that are behind that surface. So now you can see our hatch is showing up, and we cannot see through it anymore, right? Because this is an actual surface. It's a solid. Because it was a closed P-line. Does that make sense so far? Hide. And then we do regen. Regen regens it so we can get out of the hide mode. So regen. R-E-G-E-N. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I'm recording this. Alright, so we have p-edit. We did our, and then all the commands that go in there. We did our extrude, hide, and then regen. Like regenerate. Another thing we can do is shade. And shade will actually create a shaded view using tones, shaded tones. So if I type in shade, we get that as a shaded object. Now that one, if I...
Is that for the selection or is that for the whole drawing?
That's for anything that's solid. So if I go back to hide, it'll go back to hide. If I regen it, it should regen it. Back to it. And if that's not, I think it might not. Yeah, now it's always going to stay in the hide mode. So we need to get back to wireframe. And I think, yeah, that's what I'm about to figure out right now. If we go to the visual styles, if we click on 2D wireframe, we should see a trigger. Well, I guess not. They're hiding. Usually we see a trigger in the command line.
Maybe unhide?
No, I don't think so. No, it's not showing it.
Unhide comes up as a command.
Unhide? There we go, unhide. The difference between the new AutoCAD and the old. Alright, so unhide will get you back. So we have shade, hide, and unhide. So this is a good way to check. I mean, shade for sure is going to give you, like, you know it's solid 100% because you're seeing the surfaces. Okay. And you got to go to hide to unhide it, which is always bizarre. And if we go to the visual styles, we'll get that dialog box so we can click here. Okay? So this is going to be helpful as we're starting to extrude these. All right? So let me switch on someone else's computer real quick that has... Who has a window detail? Or we do... Or we'll go... Since we're familiar with your... What number is yours? 4? And I can look at other ones too.
What did you say the half circles with lines going across and kind of going back? What was that?
Half circle...
Yeah, it was the hatching pattern, or the pattern that like was like half circle and then kind of.
Insulation. Yeah, so that's a hollow, that's a void in the wall. Don't extrude the insulation. Okay, so let's look. This is a good detail to study. Okay, whoever has window and like, pay attention. I won't record this. Okay, so let's look at that. All right, so again, I'm gonna do this for this entire project. All right, in 10 minutes. I'm gonna do what you guys are gonna do. I'll do this in 10 minutes. You guys can time me so we can talk about the lecture. Okay? So I'm going to do this very fast so we can get our layers going here. So I'm going to make my 3D layer. And I'll call it profile. Oh, you already have one, but I'll make another one. And I'm going to call this... I'm just going to make one that says wood. And I'll pick color... let's go ahead and just use yellow. Make it current, of course. That's that one. Okay. To move faster, I'm going to go ahead and redraw a lot. So I just flipped up the UCS. If we start to just draw a rectangle, some of the stuff's very easy to trace. So I'm just going to do the wood, okay? So I'm going to assume this is actually wood. Be careful which snaps you have on. And again, if you ever want to change your snaps, you probably don't want to have them all on. I like sometimes just to have endpoints on. Okay, so that's our wood. So what else do we have? We have, let's do drywall. Let's go ahead. And again, it's sometimes better to work sort of procedurally and like do all your layers. Or just get all your layers done. And then I would like take all of this and just copy it. Control C. And then we'll call this drywall. And then I'll make another new layer. Control V. So I don't have to retype 3D profile. Let's call this aluminum. Another layer. Control V. Steel. Another layer. Control V. Brick. I'm going to go ahead and change these colors. Forgot one. Which one did I forget? Wood, huh? Alright, it doesn't really matter because we don't care about line weights in that sense. We just care about getting the layers right. Alright, so we can make ones current now. So I'm going to go to drywall. So I can, again, if things are really simple, I can just draw over these. So I was doing just like, if they're rectangular shapes, I don't mind sometimes just drawing over them. Now there is a detail here, a corner detail. Let's just ignore it for right now. Okay, that's my drywall. Let's go ahead to wood and finish. Okay, we did wood already. Let's go to aluminum. I'm definitely not going to redraw all of that. So this is where it's a good idea to see what this layer is. I'm like stuck in 3D orbit or something. Is there multiple layers there? What layer is that? Medium? Okay, so we'll go to layer. Just gonna go ahead and select everything. I like turn everything off or freeze it. Except for medium, I'm going to turn back on. And the 3D aluminum that I want to use. Okay. So that's sort of this new part. What I can do is then make just make a window selection and switch that part to aluminum, 3D profile aluminum. So I don't have to redraw it. And then I can go back to layers. Again, I'm doing this really, I'm not doing it crazy fast, but fast enough. Let's turn that off. So I don't need, this is silicone. So this is caulking, most likely, right? Silicone caulking. So I have that. So I'm going to start using the join command now. Sorry, but somehow the video card is not handling this. I'm just going to select this whole thing. And type in join. It's at least somewhere to start. So it did a pretty good job there. Did a pretty good job. So if you draw fairly close, I don't know why I didn't join that. Let's try to join these. Alright, sometimes you got to double join. So it almost has it. So here you have like an extra line, so we'll trim that away. So this is where you got to go in and clean your work up. So I'm going to join that again. So I'm just typing in join to try to make a closed P line, okay? So you see I'm missing a line here. So I'll add a line. This is why UCS is critical. Without me using my UCS in this orientation, I can never do this.
What if those lines are on the picture?
Sorry?
What if those lines are on the picture?
It might be something beyond, or just it could be something beyond. Yeah, because typically it's going to be like this profile and that profile. We extrude that together. Okay, because there's a hollowness here. This is the solid part, so it's thin aluminum. So we have that. That looks like it's good. It looks like you have, yeah. So if there's like you're saying, an extra line there,
Why is that aluminum piece so complicated?
because there's to make them strong, aluminum is not that strong. So they add a lot of bends. The more bends you add, the more sort of strength it gives it, because it's thinner. Also, there's thermal breaks. So the aluminum outside typically doesn't want to touch the aluminum on the inside. So they're separated by gasketing.
Oh. Okay.
Otherwise, the cold comes right in. It's a
Yeah, conducts.
conducts right in. So there's thermal breaks. So that looks like a joint. So that's why. So I think I have that all set up. So I'll go to layer. I'll turn the rest on. So next is steel, right? Or let's do steel. So this is our steel. This is made out of steel. It's not made out of aluminum. Again, I might just take this whole thing and just type in join. And you can see it actually joined it. Like just hitting everything, join. And then I'll draw a line from there to there. I'm going to pick these two. I'm going to switch them to be steel. If I can pick it. Hold on. Not that you have to. If you pick the first one, it'll join it anyway. So then we join this. All right, so that's joined. And then I need my bricks. All right. Has that been 5 minutes so far? Huh? I haven't been doing this for 15. Oh, I'm still recording. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I was trying to be faster. But we'll get there. We still have time. All right, so let's do the bricks. So the bricks are rectangles, so I can just draw those. We got time, guys. Don't start packing up here. Even the ones that are in the distance, I'm going to draw those. And then I'm also going to draw the mortar, which is a little tricky. This is a little tricky here. This one's not so tricky. Rectangle? So I'm going to teach you a new command. I'm going to draw a line from there to there. And then trim this. I don't want that. Or I don't even need that. Delete that. Okay. Now the reason I drew a line there is I want basically that inside shape. Here and there. Okay. So I'm going to type in plan. Plan is going to bring us to that elevation. So plan basically takes our viewport and lays it flat. So I don't have to work in 3D. I want to work in 2D right now. But I'm working in elevation. I'm not working looking down. I'm working looking up. Okay?
I think shift scroll is the same thing.
Shift scroll. Okay, maybe. But just plan. Use plan. It's easier because eventually you can go to plan, world. We use plan quite a bit. So if I type in now boundary, boundary will create the geometry automatically for you that's in these sort of weird configurations. Boundary. Okay? If I hit enter, it basically just created that for me. So I have those shapes. I don't have to like try to trim them and draw them and spend all this time. Okay? You got it? Boundary? I'll go back to 3D view.
You just select all the lines.
You pick, you don't select all the lines, you pick inside.
Specific lines.
Yeah, in between the lines, and then I'll make a boundary of what's inside. Like, go get to the edges. Okay? All right, now I'm going to go ahead and turn everything off except my 3D. Makes life easier, right? Okay. So I have to have a little bit of memory here. So I know these are solid, so I'm going to do extrude. And I can pick everything I want to extrude. I want to extrude that. I want to extrude that. I want to extrude that. Extrude that. Well, let's do, you know what? Let's be smart and do it by, let's do it by layer. So that's wood. So let's type extrude. So we'll do each at a time. And we want to go 2 feet. And click. Okay? And then I'm going to switch to my drywall. Pick the drywall. Extrude. Also 2 feet. And then point in that direction. And click. If 2 feet, do 1 meter. That's fine. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I must be changing it. Sorry. I forgot this is in centimeters. I hope. Let's assume it does. Okay?
So if you have two shapes sharing a line,
You might run into problems. So don't produce double lines. Is that your question, or?
yeah, because I think I did that a lot in the drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shared
I was
line.
thinking
So there's a command called overkill. There's a command called overkill. Overkill will kill all your double lines.
No,
No,
not
but
like
you
that.
need double lines.
Like if you.
Oh, need double lines. Yeah.
A lot of them I just kind of.
Yeah, you need to add those. So there'll be double lines. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Because they're closed shapes. So, we here I selected 2 at the same time, hoping that it makes a hollow shape. And what we'll see is it doesn't. So if I do shade, it just produces a solid and solid. All right. The command to use, this is a new command, subtract. If we type in subtract, I select the shape I want to keep, hit enter. I select the shape I want to delete, hit enter. It deletes it. You might need to use the subtract command to make hollow geometries. Okay. Overkill gets lines that are, if you have double lines, you don't want them. If there's 2 lines that sit in the same position, because you drew like this for like an hour, because you were watching Seinfeld in the background and didn't realize it, you can kill them all. Okay? And you get 1. But they have to sit in the exactly same position. If they're slightly off, it assumes you want that. If they're 2 closed P lines that do this, it won't do anything. It's just when you have open lines. Overkill will be an important thing. So you saw that? Okay. Again, I'm recording this, guys, and I'll upload. Subtract. That's a solid 2 feet. Okay. Let's go to steel now. Two feet. Now with bricks, the mortar is going to be um, 2 feet. Make sure you switch to brick layer. It's always going to take the layer that you're on. And you can just make, I mean, in actuality, the brick would not be 2 feet. We can pick all of this and this mortar here. Although there wouldn't be mortar here. The mortar would actually stop here. in actuality, but that's fine. We'll pick this. And that, and type extrude. And do 2 feet. Okay. Oops, did I not enter 2 feet? I don't know, something's... Let's see, I guess I'm not hitting the enter button or something. It's hard to see with these video delay. I have like a short delay, I don't know why, like everything I do. No, you wouldn't really have it there, but that's fine. For right now, for what I'm doing right now. Like, why is this not extruding 2 feet?
Maybe the other ones are 2 meters.
Well, don't mix feet with meters. Okay, so if I use my shift rotate, I can rotate. Okay. So this brick here and that mortar and that brick are back here somewhere. So the back here is going to be halfway point. Okay. So I'm going to extrude this the half amount. So if I did 2 feet, I'm going to extrude this 1 foot. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to do an extrude again. And I'm going to do 1 foot. And then I'm going to move this back. And what I'll do is I would move it from there to midpoint. And I would snap to a midpoint there. Okay? So now when I look at this, I understand here's my mullion. Now this isn't right either, because this would turn down at that point. But that's fine. Just get this going. We'll look at more sort of complexity. Because the window here in actuality would turn down wherever this brick is turning down, right? Does that make sense to you guys? We're sort of faking it right now. I just want you guys to get basic extrusion commands down. So if I do a hidden line, hide, we start to read that. I'm going to go UCS world so I don't see the grid anymore. There's the 3D shape. If I turn on all my layers, I start to see where all the hatches are. Now I have this other layer, I have this other piece down here. My advice is move that away. I know this one's sitting right on top of it. It might be a little hard to move right now, because ultimately what you guys are going to do is do basically an isometric view, and then we're going to go to a layout, and then we can change. We can come here and go to properties. And then we can change this viewport. So if we go to MS, and then we pick that right there, and we can adjust this or leave it at sort of the 30-30, and then type in hide, and then pan it. And maybe my pan command would work. I don't know what's going on. Okay, that works. That doesn't work. Let's type in height again. We can even look, if we go to PS, we can even come here and actually look at the scale and make a custom scale. And then we can also, if we select this again, we can say hidden. I think we have to use legacy hidden. Works better. And then when we go to print, plot, we can start to build these really nice sort of 3D. You know, we have to do some erasing, getting rid of some of these lines here. We do have to look at line weights, but then we make a nice little 3D AutoCAD detail drawing. It's not perfect, but if you can get close to this by next week, we'll be in great shape.
All of them or?
Do it again. Run as far as you can. I don't know. It might be a marathon. It might be a 5K. Maybe the block. You know, everybody will have a different outcome. Okay? Deal?
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward? Get as far as you can. Questions. Hold on. Let me stop this.